Airsofters. So I'm pretty new to Airsoft, so if you're new to Airsoft, come along and learn with me. So bear in mind, I'm new. But I thought it might make sense for me to put a sight onto my rifle. I've been using this stock iron sights as it is, and well, frankly, it takes a lot of concentration to try to do that. So I got this guy. I bought it from this actual store off AliExpress, Maplon, and there's the price for you. They do a decent job with the descriptions and all that stuff. I think this is supposed to be basically a copycat of a real sight, like a Trijicon, I think, but correct me if I'm wrong. So it just showed up in the mail today. It showed up in a padded envelope, but I guess that's fine because the entire thing is in a hard plastic case. So I haven't opened it. Let's take a look. Alright, so it's a little snap plastic case. For some reason, that snap doesn't want to work. Or it's, I don't know. There it is. Alright. I think it was actually open in the envelope. Alright, looks like there's a hex tool here. Maybe like a 3mm. Some foam. And then we have a piece of paper. Solar sight model. Increase brightness button on that side. Decrease brightness on the right side. An elevation adjuster. Looks like a flathead screwdriver. And then a wind edge adjuster. That also, at least in the photo, is a flathead. Power off and off. I don't know. I'm going to have to experiment. Why does it say plus and minus? It's a little confusing there. This is a solar cell up here, so you can preserve your battery if you're out playing in the daylight. A quick release from the rail, a lock lever, battery cap, AA not included. I'm going to go get one. It says here AA lithium battery. I'm going to try to pop in a rechargeable battery, but I think it's just like a nickel metal hydride battery. And then I'm going to also probably pop in an alkaline battery, and let's see if it works. Here are the dimensions, and then the weight seems to be quite heavy, 388 grams. Unlimited eye relief, and then fittings, scope, and lens cleaning cloth. Alright, there's the lens cleaning cloth, so I guess that's a nice thing to have. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, it came with this, what are these things called? They basically prevent reflections, so other people can't see the shininess of the lens. A lens brightness diffuser, or it literally says anti-reflection device, as again, I'm new to Airsoft. So, but for me, I think it'll just help protect the lens from getting destroyed by a direct BB. Right, I'm going to be playing close quarters combat, so that's why I went with a reflex sight. So, there you go, that's pretty cool. Right, you can generally see what you're looking at straight on, but any sort of angled BB coming in is going to, sacrifice itself. And it is threaded here. This is aluminum, what I'm touching right now. So this back part, this threaded part seems to be aluminum, and then the front part seems to be plastic. Can they come apart, I wonder? No, I think it's glued in place. This, I think, is a aluminum honeycomb. I feel because it's way too thin to be plastic, to be molded that way. Alright. I have a feeling what's going to happen is the very first time it gets shot, this is going to become worthless because it's going to crumple, right? And then you won't be able to see through it. But I'll keep the thing, and I'm going to glue a piece of acrylic to it. A thick piece of acrylic so it can take BBs repeatedly. Or in fact, maybe I won't even use this and I'll just do that in the first place, because I could actually put a piece of acrylic on the inside. There's a lot of depth here to work with, so it's refreshing. I think I can work with this even if I destroy the honeycomb. Alright, so that's nice that it comes with that. Let's see if there's anything under this foam. No. Okay. Pretty nice box. I'm not going to, use it to keep the scope. I'm going to put the scope on my rifle. But I could definitely see a use for this box for other purposes. Maybe keep batteries. or I don't know. But it's nice enough that I don't want to throw it away. So that's cool. Oh, it literally says Trijicon here, though. This is not a real Trijicon scope, though. Those things are hundreds of dollars. Okay, so it comes in this plastic bag. A little desiccant. Let's see. CE approval. Got QC. Whether I don't know if that's true or not. Two giant Phillips head screwdrivers there, and so I'm assuming that's keeping this mounting plate to the top part. You know, you can see a break here. So the quick release rail system, yeah, alright. You can see the mechanism. Makes sense to me. It has two springs in there to help balance out the compression there on the rail. So that seems like a pretty good design. I wonder if this moves like on its own. I see. So maybe that makes it easier to do this versus so it does lock it. So that's smart. You can't accidentally bump this and have it fall off your scope. I mean, just fall off your rifle rail. Or I guess you could put this on a pistol too. So you literally have to do this, press this in before you release it from the rail. Very smart design. I like it. Of course, you know, this was designed originally by Trijicon, which they obviously know what they're doing. Alright, the battery cover, there's a lanyard, and it's not, it's actually a metal line. It's not fishing wire. I think it's braided steel and it's coated in black plastic. So that should be pretty durable. And I have a hard time thinking that would snap. Definitely from a plastic BB, I don't think could break that. And then this thing will just spin open for the battery. Okay. Looking inside, yeah, it's a little rough. I don't know if there's extra... I don't know if this thing is just painted or anodized. I feel like it's painted in there. If it was anodized, I think all that would actually be black. So I have a suspicion maybe this housing is painted and not anodized. But again, it's only $45. Okay, so all this marking stuff here probably mimics the real thing. Here's the solar panel flexing around here. It's touching a little bit here, here. But I guess that wouldn't affect the performance. And then the actual clear plastic covering it is like sandblasted, or has a matte texture. Probably to reduce, you know, reflections and stuff like that. So that seems alright. Let's see, SRS, I guess that's the name of the model from Trijicon. So this thing is actually not a flathead screw. It's a hex, which one would have to assume is why they gave you this tool. And yes, it is, that fits. On the other side, there is nothing, which makes sense. And then there's one here. Alright. So it's nicely marked. Up is counterclockwise, so elevation changes. And then right is clockwise, so windage changes there. One click is half a minute of angle, which for me it doesn't matter. I'm playing close quarters combat, which is why I picked this giant, you know, aperture here. So I would hope that I should be able to easily catch people running around with my peripheral vision and both my eyes open. So I don't see any sort of laser being on at all, you know, any sort of red dot that is. So maybe it actually needs to have a battery in here to complete the circuit for the solar to work. This is a pretty bright LED panel I have above here, so I think it needs to have something bridge this connection inside this battery box. Let me come back with some batteries. Alright, I'm back with two alkalines and a rechargeable. So here's a brand new Panasonic Neo alkaline. Let's pop this in. It's nice that it tells you which side goes in first. So pointy end, positive side goes in here. Maybe I should actually put the battery in this because it's actually recessed. Maybe it doesn't matter. So with the tether, it's a little bit annoying. I think you literally have to hold the tether here, maybe use the other hand here to start the thread off. It's an aluminum cap, and I think it's an aluminum body, so it might be susceptible to cross-threading. Yeah, this tether thing's annoying. I did catch the thread. There is a coin slot here as well. Although there's also an O-ring, so I have a hard time thinking this cap would want to work itself loose with the O-ring, you know, creating a lot of drag. So, not the easiest thing to screw in. I think it might be because there's all that paint in the threads. So I think later I might take a wire brush, clean out those threads, so it's a little easier for this to happen. Maybe even put in a little grease or something into those threads. I can definitely see why there's a coin slot here. Even though this is textured, it's pretty slick. Alright, so that battery's in there, and now, there we go. So with an alkaline, it does work, obviously. Very nice. Hold on a second, I'm going to change the photo. Alright, well, I was trying to pop in this energizer, but it doesn't, this energizer is too wide to fit this recess here. See, it won't fit in there. I'm literally tearing the wrapper, so keep that in mind. It might not actually fit every AA you have. I mean, this is a popular brand, right? It's kind of weird that this hole wouldn't be a little bit bigger. So, alright. Now, what I was really curious about is, can this thing actually recharge a rechargeable battery? I don't know. It doesn't say anything about that in the instructions or on that website. But here's an Eneloop rechargeable, and let's see if it even fits this cap. Again. So this is a problem. It's going to tear the wrapper. So this is poorly designed. You know, it's really strange that you wouldn't test more than one battery to fit this cap. So what's going on is this battery has a plastic wrapper. This original one, this is just a metal shell with printing on it. So there is no plastic wrapper. This Energizer, again, it's a metal shell, but it has a plastic wrapper. So these plastic wrapped ones are literally too big to fit this cap. But the all metal one, you can see how loose it is. Right? But yeah, so that's a real letdown. I would assume it's just really strange. Okay. I don't know if I want to ruin this wrapper, but I guess, well. Oh man, look at that! It's literally like tearing the wrapper. I don't think so. So that's a real shame. I might have to actually go and take a Dremel and Dremel this out a little bit, you know, sand it out with the sanding wheel. Another criticism I have is this coin slot thing is so shallow. I know if I took a quarter or a large coin, it would skip out very easily because the slot isn't really deep. This slot should be a lot deeper, I think. That would be nice. Because I'm finding it was really difficult to undo this, taking that first battery out. Because this just there isn't much traction on this. And then also this tether is always trying to slow it down because it's really wrapping around. So that's too bad. Without the battery it's not an issue. But with the battery in there, there's like a lot of extra drag. So there again, you can see now a lot of black paint is missing because I think this is painted and not anodized. Ah boy, what to do? Well, one thing we can do is, whoa, what's going on here? Is this normal? I'm just looking inside this thing. Like, why is this surface curving in that way? Well, I mean, I guess it's normal to be that way. It just, I don't know how these things are constructed. It looks like this lens is actually at an angle. And so, I'm assuming, if you look in there, let me get a flashlight. I'm assuming that rectangle there in the back is the laser emitter. And so that laser is bouncing off the surface of the lens, and that's what you're seeing through the aperture here. That's what I assume, how these are constructed. Okay. While we're at it though, let's take this little shield thing here and see how easy the threads work. Alright, so that's perfectly fine. No resistance. And then it took many revolutions, so that would be pretty hard to fall out. It would have to vibrate a lot to back out that many revolutions, right? And then if you're really concerned, you could just put a little low strength thread lock there and then it won't come out at all. So that's nice. Alright, I'm back from Dremling and I got some tips for you guys if you want to do the same thing. First tip is this spring in here, you can actually rotate it, but you can tell, you know, it's coiled, so I used this type of Dremel bit in here. But if you get too close to the spring, you can't Dremel that far down. So what I did is I used some bent pliers and I did this, you know, where the coil is the lowest possible. So actually it'd be more like right around here. That's where the coil is lowest. So then I'd go in and I'd Dremel all that stuff out. And then I'd basically take the pliers and I would rotate in a counterclockwise fashion because that's the way the coil is. And then you can basically do that a few times and eventually you'll get around the entire thing, right? So again, this type of Dremel bit, I don't know what these are called, but that seems to work. And then here's that same type of battery, and now you can see it has enough free play that I can compress the spring fully and it's not tearing away that plastic. Let's see about the Energizer one. Yeah, same thing. So just do it so you don't have any stiction, because you need to have the spring press the battery against the contact inside this thing, so it has to be loose. Alright, now I already went and pre-tested it, but this rechargeable will light this thing up. But let me pop this in here. I gotta find the thread here. Hopefully that's caught. So I'm pushing it in as I twist it. And then I find that, you know, I gotta hold this lanyard in place. And it's kind of annoying. But, you know, you don't have to replace batteries too often, so it might annoy you once every year or two or whatever, however long these things are supposed to last. Just looking to see when it turns on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there you go, rechargeable battery. Okay, now that we have a battery in, let's go over these controls here. I was fiddling around and I found a couple different things. First, you can turn it on with either of these side buttons, the plus or the minus button. So here I'll do the plus side, and there it is. To turn it off, you have to hold both buttons at the same time. There, it's off. So I'll turn it on with the negative button, and I'll turn it off with both buttons. You cannot hold one of these buttons for a long time and have it turn off like, say, another common electronic device might do. Holding these buttons adjusts the brightness level. So let me turn this on again. And so this is the plus side, right? So every time that red dot flashes, it means it's changing the brightness setting. And so I counted 18 brightness settings here. So I'm going to count this off. I'm going to go down and that red dot will flash. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then it won't flash anymore. So that's the lightest setting. the camera's going to have a hard time showing this, and it's even having a hard time focusing on that tiny little dot back there. But you can also adjust this setting quickly. You don't have to click it 18 times. You only click it slowly if you want to remember what setting you want. If you just want to go super bright, I'm just going to hold the right side down. I mean the left side down, the plus side, and we'll just see it flashing. So it's counting up to 18 very quickly. And then once it stops flashing, that's the full 18 right there. To my naked eye, this brightest setting looks like it's around between 5 and 10 millimeters as far as the red dot. And then when I do it the complete lowest setting, it looks like it's like a 1 millimeter red dot. So I think that's really cool. I was a little curious, because these instructions are a little bit confusing. Off is written here, but really you just want to hold both buttons to turn it off. Alright. I also noticed there's a call out here, recoil lug. So naturally you have to fit this lug right here into one of the grooves of your rail system. I'm a little curious about this. Let's see what the red dot looks like with this little thing here. Sorry, I'm trying to find the thread. There we go. Takes a lot of turns. So I think that's the brightest setting, right? Let's just double check. Yeah, that's the brightest. Yeah, it seems okay. It really gives an idea about the honeycomb. But, I mean, you can still read this text through it, so it doesn't really distort your field of view too much. I mean, obviously if you're not looking through your optics properly, it's like that, but if you're looking at it the way you should, it doesn't really disturb the view too much, so that's nice. Well, let me do it with the lowest setting though, just for curiosity's sake. Going all the way down. Eventually it'll stop blinking. There. Wow, it's almost vanished. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I can't even see it. I can barely see it on this white piece of paper. No, I can't even see it. I don't know if the YouTube's going to show it, but so the lowest setting is tough there. Against a black background, obviously it's a lot more visible. Alright. Alright, well, we know a rechargeable battery will power this thing. What I want to know is now, will this solar cell actually charge the battery? So in theory, you never have to replace this battery if, as long as it has access to light. So I discharged this battery a little bit, but not all the way because it might not have the ability to do that. But this battery is 1.27 volts right now. We're going to see if it can get up over 1.3. So I'm going to pop this guy in here. The thread is not the greatest here, but again, it's not an expensive scope. I took an alcohol swab, well, Q-tips and alcohol, and I removed a lot of the paint inside of there to help try to smooth it out. But I still haven't put any oil in there. I don't know if it'll ruin, that O-ring. So, in theory, again, if this thing can recharge it, I'll never have to take this cap off again. Let's see if that's enough. Yeah, all right. So it does turn on, so I'll just turn it off. I'm going to put it on my balcony for a few days, and we'll see what it ends up being charged at. Okay, I've played around with this thing for quite a bit. I have some issues. First, it's very heavy. Second, I can't shoot lefty with the thing. When I shoot it right-handed, it's not an issue. I'm not even sure if I can get the dot into the field of view here. There it is. Okay, well anyways. So if I'm holding it in a right-shouldered position, it's not a problem. But when I wear a paintball mask, so I can't condition my body to shoot lefty well enough, because the mask is hitting this stock here. Even though I have a riser, I think I would need a really high, ridiculous riser in order to effectively use this. Unfortunately, I can't lower this tube because this is a proprietary system where it won't allow me to use one of those adapters to move the tube down, because the quick change system, it uses expansion nut, not a compression bolt. It's a long story, but it can't be done. Okay, so let's I guess I'll show you the weight of the thing, and it's also been charging out on my balcony for a few days, so we'll see if it's charged even higher than before. I did put this giant thick acrylic piece on there, and it did work very well. It took many hits. You can actually see some little hit marks there, or maybe that's water, I'm not sure. Yeah, so this thing weighs 396 grams, almost 400 grams. So after a whole day, or even a few games, it just gets tiring, even just holding this in my hand. So it is great that, you know, it has the solar panel and all that stuff. So now let's just see if what the voltage is on this rechargeable. Okay. Well, I don't know. It hasn't charged much, so it's debatable. I'm not sure. The first time it did seem to charge the battery, but yeah, I did use it for like 6 hours 2 days ago, and I don't have direct sunlight on my balcony, but I do believe it does charge. So that was with this rechargeable battery. That weight without the battery, although it makes no sense, it's only 366 grams. Okay, so that's my feedback on this thing. I think honestly, for me, I'm gonna go back maybe to the iron sights, or maybe get a tracer unit. I kind of feel like tracer units is an unfair advantage, but theoretically it's realistic, because in the real world there are tracer bullets. But we'll see about that video. So with the iron sights, I feel like I'll just be more effective with the paintball mask, because even though I might not get the elevation correct, with 2 sights, you know you're on target. But with only 1 red dot, your head is the second sight. And so if you don't put your head in the exact same position every time, your sight's going to be off. You know, it's going to veer to the left or the right, up or down. And I don't have the patience to condition myself for the left-handed side, because I'm lazy like that. So I don't know. Can I recommend this? If you love red dots, yeah, this aperture is fantastic. That's for sure. You can see a whole lot of action when this thing is, you know, in effect. I took the battery out. But if it's not an effective aiming solution, for me, it's not going to work well. I'm still going to keep it. Maybe someday if I do like milsim or something like that, the weight won't be a problem. And if I'm doing milsim, I'll probably be always shooting with my right dominant hand, you know. But for CQB, fast action, I'm constantly switching to the left side. So that's the reasoning. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next Airsoft video. Bye.